Whoa. Sorry. Let me just calm down. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. My name is Varun, Whoa, what the heck was that right there? Well, it's actually. Yo, what is up, my cool fams? It is I, Tarun Venkataraman, or rather, Tarun TAC. And today, good friends, I am joined with my own younger brother, Vroom Vroom, also known as Varun Venkataraman. Varun, say hi.
Sup?
So today we are doing a podcast. Do you all know what a podcast is?
All right, that's a pretty dumb question. All right, so let's move on. So today is our pilot episode, as
It's our
everyone knows.
pilot episode for our new podcast called TV on Air. It's supposed to represent T as in Tarun and V as in Varun, but it can also be used for just me since I could probably take some other people in this thing, since my name is Tarun Venkataraman, meaning my initials are T and V, which is very apparent considering I am very good at entertainment. So having TV as my initials, not a bad idea. I don't know why I have to smile for these things. I'm actually
All
trying
right,
to be
that's a pretty
serious.
horrible joke. All right, so let's start with our first topic. So today we're going to be talking about sports
Sports.
and politics.
Sports and
So,
politics. That's the name of the video.
so the main thing we got in sports right now, obviously, the NBA playoffs is happening right now. I don't
That
know
is
if you.
right. The NBA playoffs are happening right now. And I would just like to, Varun, I would just like to abrogate, or how do you say it? Abbreviate. Yes, I would like to abbreviate for a second right now that I, the Super Tack, am actually not a very big super fan in any sports, even basketball. Although I have the knowledge of, due to the fact that my younger brother over here is a super fanatic of the sport known as basketball, and because I also am a sort of fan, not really fan, but sort of fan of cricket because my parents were cricketers, and it's a nice sport. And well, I'm Indian. Why wouldn't we be big fans of cricket? But otherwise, I was never really a big fan of basketball. However, my brother is a really big fanatic of the basketball sport, and therefore Varun will lead our chase for the basketball area.
All right, so this is great. We're already starting off with stereotypes. But that's a strong way to start off our podcast.
Wait, what
All
what
right, so
stereotype? What stereotypes? I mean, it's supposed to get
cricket,
political.
cricket, cricket.
Oh yeah, well, guess what? I forgot to state that we are also only going to talk about basketball because there's no other sport at this point of time, that of which is really going on. Therefore, only basketball, and also because that's all we have the time for before we get into our other topic, world politics.
All right,
Now,
so to start off, as
start
everyone
off.
knows,
Oh wait.
we are.
Start off. I would like to say, you may go on and start off. Vroom vroom.
All right, so as everyone knows, we are in the second slash. we're we're almost in the third round of the playoffs, right? So we got some crazy stuff going on right now. We had in the first round itself, we had two sweeps. The the Timberwolves and the Thunder, both very young teams, came out of nowhere, swept the Suns and the Pelicans. That was crazy. Lakers, that was a
Would you
sad
like to
series to
share the
watch.
screen for a second, my dear brother, for
Uh,
our fans on Instagram and YouTube to take a slight look at if they would like?
all right, hold up, I got you. Hold up.
Meanwhile, I would like to sponsor, or rather, give a shout out to our great food item for today. Let me just show you guys it on the camera. Welcome, everybody, to what are these called again?
It's a manicotti.
Manicottis. I don't really know. I thought that they were quesadillas, but I've never heard of a manicotti before. What country do they come from again?
Oof, you mix up a quesadilla with a manicotti, bro.
I don't know. Anyway,
How'd you do that?
manicottis are the food we are eating today, not my classic paneer and pesto fried rice wrap
Curry or
or
Indian?
my other usual, which is how do I say it? Oh yes, the chicken parmesan and Alfredo pasta. Today we are eating manicottis. At least I am. Varun is already finished. But I am still eating my food, as I always do during these times. I also have my bottle of water over here. Anyone else loves Aquafina? Any other brand you guys like, you may suggest it to me. I've also squashed it so I can drink it. It's really good if you drink it. I in fact have a lot of packets of Aquafina around in my room over there on the what do I call it? The deck or something.
All right, bro. Let's get back to the topic.
Anyway, enough with sponsoring foods like manicotis and cheesy foods and Aquafina water. Let us get to the sports thing.
All right, so
He's
as you guys can
Varun
see,
has already Varun has already shared this. I'm just needing to add this to the stage. Let me do that so
yeah.
they can see Varun.
All right, so what we got here is obviously we're just on
Here
ESPN,
you
the
go.
start of the playoffs, right? As I was saying, Nuggets and Lakers, that was crazy series. The Nuggets, they like their comebacks. I don't know how else to put it. Seems like every single game, and now they started with games. At this point, it's series is at this point. You know, with the Timberwolves, they went down 0-2 against the Timberwolves, got absolutely destroyed in game two, and then they went on a 3-0 run, 3 games to none, and
Which one are the Timbers again?
the Minnesota Timberwolves.
I know, but
Got them right here.
can you please increase the size for a second, my dear? Or sorry, Varun. I don't want to get too weird.
I can't really zoom in much further than this, but I think it's
Okay,
pretty
but
clear
just
enough.
just show, just show whichever one is
All
the
right, so we got
Timbers.
we got the Timberwolves right here, Timberwolves and Nuggets series. As you can see,
Have they already
series is
finished their previous match? Already on the semifinals.
yeah, no, yeah, this is a conference semifinals, right? So we got the series tied 3-3. My money, if I had to put my money down, I do hope I'm more of a Timberwolves fan, but I do think the Nuggets are probably going to win this one, just on sheer experience and the fact that they are so good at making comebacks. This entire series against the Nuggets and the Lakers in the first round was absolutely ridiculous. Just I think almost
Yeah.
every single game was just comebacks. Like Lakers led by almost 20 points for 5 straight games. Nuggets won 4 of them by having insane runs in the third and fourth quarter.
Joke. He means it as a joke. It's just a saying that he puts his money. He's not literally gonna bet. This is for all the idiots who are gonna be like, okay, the Timbers have won, and now Varun, pay up your money to us, and all the people who are Timbers fans know it is just a joke.
Gambling. That's a problem, or well, if you want to call it a problem, that's something we're gonna get
Well,
into
it's a sin in
later.
Hinduism. It is a big problem. I mean, it was the main cause for the war in Mahabharata. You can talk about that if you ever want to say gambling is a problem or a sin in this world.
No, 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 no. It's,
You
in
could just
terms of
use
sports, but we'll get to
you
that
could use
later.
the world's largest epic, greatest story ever written to also talk about the share. What do I call it? Hinders of gambling. In fact, there's 2 times it was mentioned. One in the story of Nala and Damayanti, the other, the mainstream one, the Yudhishthira Dyutsaba one. But that is a different point. Back to sports with you, Vroom Vroom.
All right, so as I said, I do think the Nuggets are they love to back themselves into impossible
Really? Who's
situations.
their best player?
The current MVP, 3-time MVP, this year's MVP, Nikola Jokic, best player in the world. He
If
is a
he's an
passing wizard.
if he's an MVP, how come he's not as well known as someone like LeBron or Michael or even Jason Tatum, who's never been MVP? And by the way, guys, when we went to visit the Celtics game recently, in fact, it's on my Instagram post for all of you guys watching this on Instagram. It's actually on the post there. So we went to the Celtics game. I did a live stream, and before that, I posted a lot of posts. You guys can watch that anytime you want. And by the way, when we were walking out of that game, when I was eating my Swedish fish that I was supposed to eat in the game, but I ate when we were coming back home. But anyway, when we were getting outside and I was eating the Swedish fish, this dude over here told me Jason Tatum would never be MVP and was even scolding the fans of the Celtics for saying MVP, MVP, or something like that.
Scolding.
Like
No,
not scolding, but like roast.
don't get me wrong. I think Jason Tatum he can get MVP, but this season is just
Yeah, he really
I don't
isn't.
I don't know his exact stats, but he's just not on the same level in terms of efficiency, not even in terms of straight up production, like points, rebounds, assists.
Yeah,
Basically,
that's right.
no stats actually show that he should be
Sorry, sports
MVP
fans.
right now.
Sorry very much, but no, Jason Tatum is not according to Varun. Jason Tatum has a very low chance of being MVP. But my point here is, this guy was continuously saying he'll never be MVP, he'll never be MVP, and the guy he's talking about is a person whose name I have learned after I learned the name of Jason Tatum, and this guy was an MVP.
Okay, let's back up first of all. I never said Jason Tatum's never going to be MVP. I said this season I do not think that he should be in the MVP conversation. I think, in my opinion, the MVP conversation should be kept to the top four players. And this season, that was Giannis until he got injured. Joel Embiid, obviously, until he got injured. He was a front runner. But I do think Nikola Jokic does deserve this MVP. As to what you were saying, he's not as well known. I'm not sure. This is his third MVP, which puts him in a league of like I think him and another 7 players in NBA history to get
Yeah,
3 MVPs.
I never said he's unknown, but I did say that I learned Jason Tatum's name before I learned this guy's name. That's my point here.
No. I understand what you're saying. I think first of all, well, you went to a Boston Celtics game in TD Garden. You're gonna hear about Jason Tatum, not Nikola Jokic. They were playing the Bucks. Like you're not gonna hear about Jason Tatum, or you're not gonna hear about Nikola Jokic in that instance. I think Nikola Jokic, honestly, the Nuggets a little bit not as big as of a market as Boston. They're just not as they don't get as much airtime, on TV or television or whatever. International, like they don't play international games. I think as much they don't get like live streamed
Wait, guys. I would like to tell you something, and that is that. Sorry to stop you right there, dear Varun, but as I always do with these live streams, I would like to say that I am looking at some comments from the Instagram side of this live stream. As you all know, StreamYard can do both YouTube and Instagram, and I've been looking at the Instagram side of this live stream for a long time. And we have Pranav.flames continuously saying, talk about Valorant. And then he said, please.
All right, so this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna ban him from the chat. We're not talking about Valorant now or ever.
You want to ban him? Well, he's also the same guy who has been saying number one Varun fan like 3 comments.
Yeah, we're still not gonna do that. We're not talking about Valorant.
Sorry, but your hero does not want to talk about Valorant. We are here to talk about specific things with specific notions. I know this is going to reach to you 5 minutes from right now when I'm actually speaking it, but I think you should still know, even though you're going to get it 5 minutes after I said it first, because that's kind of how this goes. Considering I started the Instagram side 5 minutes after I started the YouTube side, because that's just how it goes for some reason. Now
Yeah.
back to you, Vroom Vroom. Back to the talking about Jason Tatum or whatever you were talking about.
Yeah, as I was saying, I don't think Nikola. To answer your question, Nikola Jokic, he's just not as marketed as much. I do think that he is going to. People are going to start knowing more. More people are going to know about him. But I mean, even people like Jason Tatum, people non-basketball fans, there most people don't know who he is. I think LeBron James is the most famous athlete ever in the entire world, or maybe not ever, but currently he's the most famous athlete in the world. He's been playing for like 20 years. A lot of people consider him the GOAT. I think he's pretty freaking close in second, only to Michael Jordan, obviously. So those two are more famous than any other basketball player. Anyway, moving on to the
Varun,
other
Varun, my
series.
dear Varun, I would like to say something. Now, I'm sorry to disturb you or interrupt you again. I've been seeing from your private chats that you've been a little in the StreamYard private chat that you've been a little irritated with this behavior of mine so far, but I kind of have to do it. It is sort of a tradition or a practice, or what else do I call it, that we often check on these live streams on StreamYard from both the Instagram side and the YouTube side comments. And
No, that's
currently
fine. That's fine.
and currently we are seeing a comment from Gavin Bedford
Oh god.
1234 on the Instagram side, where he is saying, "Tell Varun to come back to Founders."
Yeah, yeah. He texted me that just now. Also, we'll talk about that later
What about me? Why can't I come back to Founders, Gavin Bedford?
because you're
I mean,
graduating.
oh yeah. I get a little bit of like that sometimes.
So don't
But
worry.
I hope that's
All
the
right.
reason why he's not asking me to come back. But it's
All
fine,
right.
I don't care.
Anyway, moving on. The other side. This is the series that I'm much more invested in. My favorite team and second favorite team, Thunders and Mavericks. Honestly, I don't know
I'm
who's gonna
supposed to
win.
tell you, continue, Varun. That's what I want to say. Back to you, Witness.
Honestly, I don't know who's gonna win. This is a tight game. We've got two MVP candidates right here. Shay's on the Thunder, Luca's on the Mavericks. I mean,
Can
I
you
think
can you give us a little bit more details on Lucas, please, and his
Luca,
typical Luca and his typical gameplay for
Lucas.
our fans to know in case they don't know him. Even though we
I think
mostly have
Luca is gonna be. He's obviously
basketball
generational.
fans watching this.
Obviously, Lucas is generational talent. You know, he says that he said that actually LeBron was his favorite player. His play style is not even close to LeBron's. He's obviously an offensive minded player, but that I think that's the main difference. That's what helped them get past the Clippers, and now what's really helping them against OKC. He's actually playing way better defense than expected. Honestly, like I saw him get a really important transition block on Shea at the end of the game. That was a block. I mean, like I don't think Luke is not exactly known for athleticism or getting blocks, but that really killed OKC's momentum. Basically won them the game. Speaking of, they won the fifth game, which statistically speaking, they now have I think almost an 80% chance of winning the
Varun,
series.
is it okay if I may interrupt you one more time for at least
No,
the
that's
next
fine. It's fine.
minute, 3 minutes or so? I would just like to, as the manager of both of the entire live stream and of both the YouTube and Instagram side and all of the sides, I would just like to remind our dear fans from, I don't really think anyone is watching from our YouTube side at this point, but I would like to tell our fans from the Instagram side that if they want to ask questions, please don't ask us about things like whether we're coming back to Founders or what game we should talk about. Please speak questions to our host, to our guest here. Not I'm the host, but please talk to our little guest here. Vroom vroom. Any questions you have about the basketball? I am ready to interrupt him and ask any of your questions that are which you asked on the Instagram side to him about the game, if you would like. But please ask on the Instagram live chat about any questions you have about basketball. Any questions that you don't ask about basketball, I'll mostly not interrupt his serious talking to talk about that. But please ask about about the basketball game as much as you like, and please do, well, allow me to answer it when they ask vroom vroom. Would you like to do that?
All right, moving on.
All right, get on back to your. But anyway, back to you to with your with the sports news.
So my prediction, I'm gonna say Nuggets are coming out of the series against the Timberwolves. Mavs, apparently, I think they have like an 80% chance now. Whoever wins Game 5 in a series that's tied 2-2, it was like a 79% chance of winning. So I'm gonna say Mavs are gonna move on. Between those two, it's really your pick. If the Mavs play like they are against OKC, it may not work as well against the Nuggets, who just have way more size. But I do think that they do genuinely have a chance of moving on. I'm gonna be straight honest.
The Mavericks are one of your favorite teams, are they not?
Yeah, as I said, I think the Thunder are my favorite team. Mavericks are my second favorite team. So I'm
I
pretty
mean,
invested in
I
that
mean,
series. But
Varun. I would just like to say, since I'm a really big Texas fan, you know why most of my friends from HSS are from Texas. Therefore, I would probably be more partial or more favorable towards Texas teams than other teams other than Arkansas
yeah,
teams,
okay.
which don't exist. There are no Arkansas teams, or are there?
No, there are
Oh,
not. I'm
there
hoping for
really
one
are not.
eventually. But
There.
I think the next team, the next rumored team, is most likely going to be a new team in Las Vegas. So we're place like Arkansas is a while away.
Yeah, there's
Anyway,
probably not going to be any Arkansas NBA teams, at least not in the NBA. There's not going to be any Arkansas team in a long time, but that is why Texas teams are my favorite because that's my second favorite state at this point. So Texas teams are obviously something I'm much more partial or favorable towards myself. I don't know about you or our fans watching on the Instagram or YouTube side, but anywhere watching the chat, but I would just like to state that I am sorry, I was just checking something else. Anyway, the Thunder, which state do they come from?
OKC, Oklahoma,
Oh, okay. Well, I mean
actually the closest
Oklahoma.
team to us. That's why they're my favorite team.
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't really know who to choose. The Mavericks are Dallas?
Yeah.
Well, they're not. Then I guess yeah, I don't really. Yeah, I like Dallas and San Antonio teams the most, so I don't think that I would be preferring any team over the Spurs or the Mavericks, but I would like to see why you like Thunder so much and which team I should probably want myself to win.
All right. So moving on, Eastern Conference. I do think the Knicks are going to win this. I think I thought that for a while. I I actually kind of think that the 76ers had a chance of beating the Knicks, but Joel Embiid was definitely not looking totally at 100%. He looked pretty hobbled, more like at like 50%, 60%. He still played surprisingly good. We're used to seeing a Joel Embiid that completely drops off in the playoffs from 25 points on amazing efficiency to like 20 points, 24 points on like 30% shooting.
Wow, that's a
But
lot.
yeah, the Knicks are just a stronger team. I do think that the Knicks are going to win this. Obviously, again, they won that pivotal Game 5, 80% chance of winning. I don't think the Pacers are going to be able to make up from that. They just don't have the experience either. I honestly also don't think it matters because whichever team makes it out of the semifinals is going to get absolutely stomped by the Celtics.
Varun, sorry. I just wanted to say Gavin has asked another question. There is
Dear
college.
God.
There are, it is not is, you cannot say because you're talking in plurality. Learn some grammar a little bit. You're still our friend, Gavin, but learn some grammar. There is college. There are. He actually said there is college Arkansas teams though. It is there are college Arkansas teams though, but well, that's the question, or this not really a question, but a statement he has added into the Instagram side of our stream.
Okay, yeah, I meant NBA teams. I obviously know that there's college teams.
Yeah, please ask more relevant and more smart, not irrelevant or unintelligent questions. From now on, please ask questions with more relevance and intelligence, guys, so that Varun does not have to state the obvious or something that of which you get what I'm saying. I think Varun would be much more better at interpreting the words that of which I mean to say or what I'm trying to say.
All right, so moving back to basketball, though,
Yeah, back to
honestly,
you.
I'm not sure who's gonna win. I think the Mavericks have a chance of beating the Nuggets, but I really don't know who's going to win this. I obviously Celtics are definitely going to go to the finals. Honestly, I'm not sure if they're going to be able to win the finals against a
Little
team like
Mo-
the Nuggets.
Little Molly has joined the Instagram side of the chat. Congratulations. Let's see what you're going to learn about sports and politics today, Mahar. Get back to you,
All
Varun.
right, but I think we're done with sports, so we can move on to our next topic.
Really, already? Uh, so
Yep.
would you like to summarize, especially since we have a new cup? Would you like to? Well, I don't really care about that, but would you like to summarize for a second our? Would you like to summarize what we have been talking about in terms of sports in the
We just went
sports sector?
over the NBA playoffs. Who has one, who
Like
is probably
what?
going to win.
Wait, like what opinions, viewpoints? Not really irrelevant or bullshit questions that we got, but actual opinions out of which we talked about, actual topics out of which we talked about on the sports side today.
As I said, I do think Celtics obviously are going to go to the finals. Doesn't matter who wins between Knicks or Pacers. We got what was it? I think Mavs are going to beat the Thunder. Nuggets. I think Nuggets are probably going to beat the Timberwolves. I would prefer the Timberwolves. I am more of a fan of the Timberwolves, but I don't think that they're going to be able to beat the Nuggets in this final game 7.
I guess that is. Wait, I thought they're going against the Mavericks, the
That's the
Timberwolves.
Thunder.
Oh, I actually confused those two for a second. What else?
I don't really know who's going to win the finals. It really depends on the Celtics. If they're shooting well, yeah, it doesn't matter which team's going up against them. They're going to stomp them. It's going to be probably
The
like 20 point.
Celtics.
Celtics are probably going to win by like 20 points in every
I
single one of
thought.
the games if they're shooting
Wait,
well.
which one did you say was going to stomp on all of them?
The Celtics.
You mean the same team that of which when we went to the match nearby, where they almost lost, and the only reason why they were able to win was because Jason Tatum was there and Giannis was not on the other team.
As I was saying, if they're shooting well,
Like
they are
if
definitely going to
you
win.
yourself said
But
if Giannis did not get his leg broken, he would have been on the.
he
He
did
would have.
not break his leg. He had a calf strain. But no, the problem with the Celtics is they are really reliant on the three. Jason Tatum, I've been seeing he's definitely getting better at driving instead of taking 3-point shots. He used to just pull up for three constantly, and he's not Stephen Curry, so he's not going to be able to hit those at such a higher clip. But they're shooting well. They're any game that they're shooting well, they are definitely going to beat whatever team. But they're probably not going to be able to sustain that for the entire playoffs, especially against a team like the Denver Nuggets. So honestly, I don't know if they're going to be able to win the finals, even with this series. I think Kristaps Porzingis, I
That
think
is really
he is
sad.
back. So
Who the
yeah,
Celtics? They cannot win this season.
yeah. I think Kristaps Porzingis is back, and I think they have a real chance. It's probably going to go to a game 6 or game 7, but I don't think the Celtics are going to be able to win just simply because they're way too reliant on their threes, and that's just it's been proven that Damian Lillard by himself was came within a single possession of beating the Celtics in the game that we went to, right? So 3-point loss without Giannis. That's what happens when the Celtics are not shooting that well. So the Celtics, if they don't shoot well, they're going to lose, and they've proven multiple times that they go on stretches where
That is
they're just not able to shoot.
that is really sad. I would just like to wish the fair town of Boston. I hope they have a good chance. They're an amazing town, and the Celtics is the team on the NBA representing their town. And I would just like to state that Boston is a very, very wonderful, amazingly wonderful city. We have been there, and they are an incredible town with amazing stuff and just a wonderful place to go to. You guys could with the trains or the many ethnic restaurants, and the fact that they were very nice towards the Irish culture. They have embraced Irish culture and other native cultures like Italian and Indian culture as well, very well. And they have also gotten one of the greatest train systems, one of the most fascinating and interesting, at least, train systems in the entire United States or American soil.
All right,
So
so I think it's
I
time
would
to
just
move us
like
on to
to
the next
state
topic.
that I hope that Boston has a good chance of winning since they are officially one of my favorite cities in all of America. Now, before we get to politics, I would just like to state that Gavin Bedford has stated another question. He's actually stated a question more than anything else in our Instagram side of the live stream, stating, Varun, do you, or rather asking, Varun, do you play NBA 2K24 or 2K24? I don't know.
2K24. No,
I
I do
don't know.
not.
I don't know what that is. I would you like to
2K24
elaborate
is
on that?
ass. If you play it, I don't know how you do. I've
I
seen a
don't
lot of people playing
understand.
it. It is not worth that money. It's just not a
Is
great
that
game.
like a video game?
It is the video game version of the NBA, if you want to put it like that.
Wow, that is really wonderful. So people who don't actually have the ability to practice in real life would like to simulate their dreams. That is a wonderful way to live life. Simulate all your dreams with video games simply instead of doing any work in real life. I'm just kidding. I know that that's not really what's going on here. These people are not lazy. They are willing to play actual things if they want to. They just it's nice to have video game simulations. I'm sorry if I didn't actually mean it that way, but anyway,
All right, I think it's time for us to move on.
sorry. Let us move on to the politics sector. All right, let me just state off with which country we would like to do first, considering I would like to do at least two countries before we end the stream.
All right, we can talk about the. We can start off with the easy ones, like the war right now, Palestine and Israel, right?
Of course. Now, who else knows well about the Palestine-Israel war? Now, this is deeply religious. I am a Hindu myself, and I also would like to state my political affiliations. We didn't really state our sports affiliations since we like many different teams, but I think that in politics it's different. You can't really like different parties. Like you can like different teams in sports. You kind of have to. You can like different parties, but ideologies are also there, and you kind of also have to state your personal viewpoints. I am a very conservative right wing personality myself. I don't know. My brother is. What are you,
I'm gonna
Varun?
say I'm mostly towards right wing too. I'm not conservative, but other than that, yeah, I'm gonna say
I don't really
right
know
wing.
how it makes sense for you to be right wing without being conservative, but unless you would like to elaborate that, let us go on.
I'll elaborate just a little bit. Conservative meaning I do not. I am a little bit more forward thinking, but at the
I mean,
same
I'm
time,
progressive when it comes to technological stuff, but when it comes to cultural and traditional stuff, I'm very much more on the conservative
in
side.
terms of
That's what I
cultural and
mean.
traditional stuff, I would also say I am a little bit more conservative. A little bit. I'm not gonna say that I completely do not think forward though.
I mean, I'm very conservative when it comes to the cultural and traditional side and the social side. Now, and the economic side, I mean, if you're looking at it as an economy growing, then I'm on the progressive side. If like changing the economy, like from capitalism to communism, no, I like capitalism. Varun does too. Communism is not for us. But
Yep.
anyway, these are our political viewpoints. I'm mostly interested in Hindutva political viewpoints, rather in Hindutva politics, which is Hindu nationalism in India. I am very interested in this, and I am also pro Israel in the Israel Palestine war. I'm also a Zionist. I believe in the state of Israel, and I am also in the on more favoring of Republicans and Republican values when it comes to American politics and BJP in Indian politics. Any of these that of which you know, which political parties that of which you will like more, what side you are on the Israel-Palestine war personally, and what is your main political ideology that of which you associate yourself with? Any of these that of which you would like to state before we begin officially talking about our first topic in the political sector, please do so, Varun.
I'm actually not really that far off from you most of things.
So yeah, what is all of your opinions on Hindu nationalism, starting with Vroom Vroom over here?
I'm gonna be honest. I don't really know much about it. I have to learn a little bit more before I can speak on stuff like that.
That is really
So
nice.
I'm not gonna speak on that right now.
Okay. I think it is time that of which we start talking about one of the most important things going on in the modern day world, which is the war between Israel Palestine. While I open up, would you like to talk about um what you know about the war and which side that of which you personally would rather find to be more right? Personally, Varun, your
In what?
your personal knowledge and supports in this war.
I think Palestine.
You side with Palestine?
Yeah.
Why?
Uh, I don't remember exactly. I did have a conversation about this with you a while ago, and you explained to me fairly well the entire situation.
Oh, yes, that was when we were in Boston. I told you that Israel is better, though. Why are you siding with Palestine?
Sorry. Wait. Which one attacked which?
Oh, Israel's attacked Palestine
You know
first.
what? Just
And
to get
ever
everyone on the same level, how about you recap the whole situation? Because I'm gonna be honest,
so
I
on
kind of forgot.
October, so Israel was started a long time ago, of course, after World War II. After World War II, because Israel was already a country that was in existence, because that was the country where the Jews lived and Christianity happened. But then the Roman Empire took it down after Jesus Christ got crucified and went on to make Israel not a country anymore, but instead to make Israel Palestine. Palesta, meaning which comes from the word for enemy in Hebrew. This is an insult to the Israelites by, in their own language, calling their country the land of the enemies and giving them an exodus or a kick out of their own land and make them live over in other places. Of all these places, India was one of the only countries that of which never oppressed the Jews, if not the only one. Netanyahu himself admitted this and stated Netanyahu, as in Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, admitted this and stated that the reason why is because of our Hindu culture and our values of tolerance and equality. So
Yeah.
later on, after World War II, when Hitler was committing the Holocaust, well, everyone got sympathy for the Jews, as they should. These poor guys have been suffering everything. They decided to give them a homeland so they can stay protected after they literally got genocided. So they gave them back their old homeland of Israel. But during the time when Israel was taken off by the Roman Empire, and of course, you know, the after they was taken off from the Roman Empire and turned into Palestine, Arabs from Egypt and Saudi Arabia began to live in what was once the homeland of the Jews. So they called it Palestine, and it was colonized by the British. So when the United States wanted to, and the rest of the United Nations wanted to give the land of Israel back to that one piece of land back to its original inhabitants, the Jews, so that they can have a homeland again. It was during this time that of which the Arabs, known not really Arabs, but actually Sea people from who attacked Egypt a long time ago and raided many of them, along with a bunch of Turks. So all these different ethnicities, Arabs, Turks, and Sea people, all making up the Palestinian community, these people began to have a feud. Now that they had gotten their independence from the British, only to be part of Israel again, they felt like they were getting oppressed. But
Okay.
it was so that it got a little bit of conflict, and the British made it even more engulfed by promising both people, the Palestinians and the Israelites, area land of their own in that area, a two-state solution, which means like both
Makes
countries,
sense.
most people will have land in that area of their country. But they made many promises to both sides that of which they could never fulfill. So the UK is, as most things in the world, very responsible for this as well. And this kind of caused even more aggravation. And then ever since that exact time in the beginning of after the World War II and before the Cold War, during all this time, ever since then, Israel and Palestine have been at war with each other. And and ever since then, people have been accusing Israel of being these colonizers and inhabitants of another land, forcing out the originals, because many of them are now descendants of Europeans, because when the Jews were living with many other people, after the Europeans, known as the Romans, kicked them out of their original land, so they began to live in other places. During this time, the Jews began to, who were originally brown people, like the Arabs and the Indians or the Iranians and all of us, me and Varun, of course, part of our race, began to
Yep.
mingle with the white people of Europe, and then eventually began to look a little bit more like them. And that's kind of so most of the people who look like Europeans in Israel today actually do have DNA matching the original Jewish people of Israel that lived there, like during the time of Abraham, Moses, and Jesus, and all the others, looking a lot like them, or at least what they were said to have looked like during the time when those people were said to have lived. Many of them do have the DNA of those people. It is just that they have mingled with Europeans, but this is still their homeland. But still, they're considered to be white colonizers, kind of like the ones who took away Australia, parts of Africa, and, well, the entirety of America, of the Americas from their natives. These people are also thought to be white colonizers
All
and
right, so hold up,
European
Tarun.
invaders.
So let's skip a little bit to exactly what the fight is about right now.
Yes, so this because of this, many people even before have been siding with Palestine. But then during the time of October 7th, back last year in 2023, Hamas, which is an organization run by the Islamic Republic of Iran. Iran used to be run by the Shah, or the Persian king, as many people have always known. Iran is a very non Islamic country. They've been non Islamic for a very, very long time. But this one man named Khomeini made a revolution and threw the Shah out. During this time, Iran and Israel were friends. But later on, the Shah had begun to be kicked out, meaning that Khomeini took over as the new leader of Iran. And unlike the Shah Reza Pahlavi, Khomeini was a Muslim who hated Jews, as Muslims typically do, considering Muhammad himself, the prophet of Islam, hated Jews because they would not accept him as a prophet of God. So ever since then, Muslims have been slaughtering and genociding the Jews way before anyone else has. I hope this does not get this anything bad. Don't worry, other people have been criticizing Islam as well, so this is not going to do anything bad. Due to this, Muslims have always hated Jews, and Khomeini was also a Muslim. He Islamified and completely made Islam take over, Sharia law take over Iran, and force all the women to wear hijabs or die, and everyone should follow Islamic laws or die unless they're part of another religion. And anyone who leaves, and even then, women, even who are not part of Islam, have to wear hijabs. And any Muslim who leaves their religion has to be getting the death penalty. Basically, it's been a hellhole ever since Khomeini took over and took over Iran. Before that, they were actually one of the most amazing civilizations of all time. You should learn their history. In fact, they're very connected even to the civilizations of Greece, Rome, and India, serving as the in between civilization of Greece and Rome and India. Persia was the in between civilization between all those three ones. And now they have become one of the greatest Islamic hellholes of all time. Tragic. They were the ones who first of all made one of their kings named Cyrus the Great, their emperors, who made an entire empire from the Middle East, had originally made the Human Rights Charter for the Jews back in long, long time ago,
All
500
right, again,
BC.
Tarun, exactly. We got to get to the point. We don't got that much time
So
left.
basically, sorry about all that. I have to mention that history, but ever since they took over at Big and blah blah blah. So Khomeini recently has funded, with the help of Joe Biden, of course, since Joe Biden only pretends to be on the side of good, but is always a crook on every end, has actually given funding to Khomeini for many things. Khomeini and the rest of the Islamic regime in Iran, the now Islamic dictatorship of Iran, disguising as a republic, or well, republics are bad, but even then it's disguising as one. The Islamic dictatorship of Iran, with their leader, Supreme Leader Khomeini, has funded, with the help of funding from Joe Biden, of course, an Islamic terrorist organization called Hamas in Palestine, in what is now known as the country of Palestine. These people called Hamas, who don't even represent the Palestinian people, but are actually funded by the Islamic dictatorship of Iran, or Islamic regime in Iran, to go and attack Israel and bomb them. So on October 7th, this exact group, Hamas, had actually attacked and bombed so many cities and places in Israel. That is when this war started. Many Israel Palestine supporters will be like, "No, that's not when the war started. It was starting," but that's when the current state of war happened. The war has been happening for ever since World War II ended, and the Palestinians and the Israelis both got scammed by the British in each of their promises. Ever since then, the war between these two countries has been happening, or these two communities has been happening. But the current, as we know it, the current huge killing each other, Palestinian side people will call it a genocide. Israel side people like me will call it a proper war. Whatever you call it, it's the what it is known to be, like not the major one, but like the main one that we know as today, started on October 7th, when Hamas, with funding from the Islamic Republic of Iran, attacked Israel and tried to bomb it. So afterwards, Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister of Israel, decided to go and hunt for the Hamas, like all people who try to kill Islamic terrorists after they attack people do typically. So the Islamic terrorists, called the Hamas terrorists, eventually began to hide in different areas with civilian populations of Palestine, meaning innocent people who don't hate the Jews or want to kill them, and many children, in fact, as well. So they began to live in areas near that, and so Israel began to attack some of those areas because, well, the Hamas were there. Now, Netanyahu did say to the rest of the Palestinian population, but for Hamas, get out of there. All women, children, and men of innocence, get out of there, especially women and children first. We
All
will
right,
be
so hold
bombing
up.
these
I'm going to
places.
stop you right here. Sounds like Palestine was the one who started this, at least the current war.
That is true. So he said,
So
get out of there
I'm going to
and
be
go kill
honest.
Hamas.
I feel like I might have to agree with you on this one. It does seem like Palestine is the one who starts it. Now I do understand. I think from
Varun,
what
let me
you
just say
said,
something. Varun, let me just. Lyndon is cute, says, but he did not allow them to leave before bombing Tarun. I am sorry, Lyndon. He did. Netanyahu gave a specific warning to all the women and children of Palestine. Get the freaking fly out of here. Why can't these things. What we should genocide flies, not nice people like Jews. But anyway, let's just get on to the actual thing, okay? So he did, in fact, give a bunch of warnings to the Palestinian people of Gaza, the Gaza Strip, the area of Palestine that which got bombed by Israel. Apparently, he did give them a chance to leave. He did give a warning. You can leave the land. We're going to bomb here. We don't want to hurt innocent women and children. But they did not leave. Well, they wanted to leave, but Hamas held them hostage like this. Oh, they didn't really, but they did. But just when they, it's like a chasing, like a shadow. Wherever you run, your shadow will come with you. You get that, right, Varun?
yeah.
Similarly, Hamas attached like a shadow to the innocent women and children of Palestine. It is not their fault, but that doesn't make Netanyahu a villain either. So he bombed, but he was trying to bomb the actual villains here, the Hamas terrorists, who were using women and children, innocent women and children, as shields, so that when they get attacked and killed by the Israeli government, then everyone can just say, "Oh my gosh, Israel is killing women and children. It's so evil." Like, and then they could just use it. They just want to use these people as a sympathy card. You get a sympathy card, a victim card. They're using the innocent women and children of Gaza as their own personal victim card ticket, or card, or money to buy a victim card for themselves. That's basically what they're using these guys as.
All
Everyone
right,
will feel
so
bad
it
for
doesn't
these.
actually seem like it seems like it's not really either Palestine or Israel's fault. It seems like it's this organization Hamas's fault. So I can't
That is
really
right.
take a side
Everyone
as
is saying that everyone agrees it's Hamas's fault, not Israel or Palestine.
Yeah, so like I don't think I can really say Israel Palestine. It seems like it's Hamas's fault. I do think that from what you're saying, you can't really blame Israel for the bombing. They did give them a chance. Maybe it was a little excessive, I guess, but at the same time, they were not the ones who attacked first, and they are clearly not trying to just kill random people.
Yeah, that is true. But here is my point, okay? So, yeah, that is true, but they weren't trying to killing innocent women and children. In fact, Hanania Naftali, one of the greatest ambassadors, or one of the, he's actually working some, he claims to directly work for Benjamin Netanyahu himself. You know who Benjamin Netanyahu is. I've stated who he is multiple times.
Yeah.
Prime Minister of Israel. He's said to have directly worked for Netanyahu, Hanania Naftali. And he has stated that Israel is and in fact Israel is giving a lot of aid. If they were committing a genocide of the Palestinians, as many of the Palestine supporters are saying, that they are committing a genocide, killing all the Gazans, and it's not because of Hamas. If they were truly doing this, they wouldn't be helping out the Palestinian people as they do. In fact, many of the women and children that Hamas is using as a money to buy their own victim card from the West for their actions and for living in their stuff. After all of this, Hamas, the money that they're using for the victim card, the innocent women and children of Gaza, these same innocent people of Gaza, women and children, and even innocent men alike, these people, the Israeli government itself, Netanyahu and his administration itself, are giving aid to and help to into securing them and bringing them over to Israel or at other places in Palestine where they can be safe and given refuge. Meanwhile, Hamas wants to stay exactly in areas where Palestinian innocent people are, which is just, what can we say about that?
Yeah,
What
definitely sounds like a criminal or a terrorist organization.
And
I
now
don't know
these people
exactly
are
what they're gonna do.
the weirdest thing is, these Hamas, they literally, Hamas, they are called as a freedom fighter organization. It's like
Yeah,
ISIS or Al Qaeda. You admit they are bomber squad, they are terrorists. But Hamas, however, are freedom fighters. You know why? Because Palestinians used to live in the land before Israeli. Because this is all because they think of Israel as this white colonizer nation, and Palestine is the native nation. Therefore, people who stand up to Israel and take them out and want Palestine to win are freedom fighters, no matter how bad they do it.
yeah, that doesn't really sound right. Anyway, I think we gotta wrap this up.
Palestine. Oh yeah, we'll get to it. So in the next podcast we will talk about a few things related to this topic. So Palestine, I would like to state, is also not the villain here. They are also the victim. It is Hamas, and it's more than Hamas. It is the Islamic Republic of Iran. Remember, Iran is also not the villain here. The innocent people who are being oppressed by their own Islamic government cannot be villains. In fact, they are the highest victims of them all. It is Khomeini and his destructive regime in Iran which is causing these problems. And Iran and India are actually very, very related. I will even talk about how the Iranian people have come from India multiple times. I'll talk about many of these theories multiple times. But the point is, now that's whatever they were before, none of that they are now. Their people are still like that, but their politics is not like that, because their politics got overthrown and run by this bomber squad leader known as Khomeini, who is actually a terrorist, or a terror lord at least, who is causing all these problems. And he is the one who funded Hamas, and is also the one who mainly you can call Khomeini as the founder of Hamas, meaning the dictator in Iran is actually the founder of Hamas. Yet people associate Hamas with Palestine. Sorry, they associate Hamas with Palestine so much. How crazy do you think that is?
like I said, doesn't exactly seem right. So yeah, we're gonna go more in depth on all this stuff in the next episode.
Yes, we will get into that.
But
I would just like to end it off with stating that afterwards, after a bunch of things, so basically they made Hamas attack Israel, and then Israel to attack every place with innocents out of which Hamas was hiding in, so that they will never get Hamas. Although I do feel like the most intelligent solution is for instead of nuking people, for Netanyahu to send a bunch of soldiers into areas where Hamas is, kind of like what Barack Obama did with Osama bin Laden and Al Qaeda after the 9/11 attacks, and that way they can kill them. Now, Mossab Yusuf, if you don't know, Yusuf Mossab, I don't really know what his name. Search his name up. Mossab, the guy who wrote Son of Hamas. He is the son of the leader of Hamas. He was also just like his father back in the day. So his father is the leader of Hamas, and he also used to, and Mossab also used to be like, I hate Jews, I love Hamas back in the day. But later on, this guy began to be like, bruh, you know what? I've decided that I want to join sides with Israel now, since they're clearly the heroes here, and then or the good guy, whatever you'd say. They're clearly that here, according to me at least. So I decided to side with Israel, and he left his father's side and joined the side of good. Kind of like what happens in Hindu mythology a lot of times. Not really, but yeah. I mean, that's not really what you should do, but here, I guess that is what you should do since his father is completely crazy. So he left and joined the side of Hamas. I mean, against Hamas with Israel. So people who support Israel and the existence of Israel are known as Zionists. Now, I am a Zionist, and the main YouTubers out of which I watch, such as David Wood and the Apostate Prophet, are also very high-end Zionists. In fact, I send them super chats about Zionism multiple times. And this one other person that of which I don't really like because he's against Hindutva and
all
stuff
right,
and
hold
all this
up,
bullshit.
Tarun. I
He's a
think
Zionist too, so I agree with
we'll
that. Armin
we'll go into
Navabi.
this in the next
Yes, we
episode.
will talk about all of this stuff in the next episode and about the recent attacks that of which to justify using Hamas attacking getting about Palestine and the innocent children of Gaza being attacked by Netanyahu and his administration based on whatever they say, what the media is saying about that, using this, how Khomeini and his administration, the Islamic regime, have innately of Iran, have bombed or sent many bombs and many nukes and many other weaponry and bomb blasted, committed a terrorist attack on Israel afterwards. I think they claim Israel started first, and I think Israel is planning to counterattack on Iran, and then it's just going to be a bloody bloodbath between Iran and Israel, with both innocent people and Netanyahu, who's a good guy, dying all because one of them is an idiot. Anyway, that is all for now. I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you. And we will
Yep.
talk about the rest of this, or rather, talk about our opinions on this war tomorrow in our next live stream of the podcast. Thank you.
All right.
Bye.